Welcome to Overtime with Jared P. and Johnny O. Special guest today, Duke Blue Devil, former NBA player, former ACC scoring title champion over James Worthy.
Yes.
Gene Banks, welcome to the show, Gene.
Well, thank you for having me. And you guys are pretty good guys. And Johnny O is one of my favorites, and I've seen him. We've been friends for decades. And pleasure.
Absolutely. It's nice having the legend of Philadelphia on with us from West Philadelphia High School, an All-American from. I wanted to be an announcer at a game or something. I missed my calling. The All-American Duke Blue Devil, Gene Banks, the 1981 second-round pick, 28th overall with the San Antonio Spurs. This is good stuff, man. Gene, nice having you.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
All right, Johnny, you want to get things started? I know that you guys are. Gene, are you an Eagles fan? I know we're not doing football right now, but
I was born and raised an Eagles fan. Go back to the history. My first job, I was 14. I was working at a place called Nathan's Reliable Furniture Store, and that was a store that sold all the sports guys in Philadelphia their furniture. And while in there, Dick Vermeil would come in, Harold Carmichael, Bill Berge, Mike Schmidt, Steve Carlton, all the Sixers, and Dick Vermeil came in, and they were training me, so to speak. A friend of mine named Mel Parker Jr. was the guy that helped me get the job and was my mentor. And I was able to sell Dick Vermeil a lamp.
Nice.
And my friend Mel Parker was very close friends with Randall Cunningham and Wilbur Montgomery, and they would come over to the house and Mel's house, and then come by my mom's house. My mom cooks sometimes off and on. So very in tune, raised and born an Eagles fan constantly, and no doubt a heartbreaker that we lost. The Cowboys, well, the Cowgirls. Is that?
That's what we all agree on this show is we hate the Cowboys because I'm a Commanders fan and our season's over anyway with Jaden Daniels out. But
we can't say that they beat the Eagles last night, so you gotta keep our mouth shut now.
Yeah. Well, at least for a week, right? So, Gene, if you were in college basketball today with the changing landscape in NIL, how much money do you think you could demand if you stayed all 4 years?
That was a good question. A couple guys came up and we talked about that. I had the opportunity to be spending some time at Duke's practice really last year with Cooper Flagg, and saw some of the things, and we had a few small talks, but at that time when I talked to him, I think he had in his savings account like $5 million, and I think he had in his checking account about $3 million at the time. So I can't be accurate about that, but he had a lot of money. By me being the number one player in the country at that time coming out, it probably would have been in the mass of me going to school, at least having $15 million in my account.
Oh, wow. And isn't that just remarkable that the way it is now? I don't know. What are your feelings about NIL? I mean, I know it's more complicated than like I like it, I don't like it, but what do you think?
Here's the thing: the NCAA for many, many decades have been able to get the use the likeness of the players. They really abuse the fact that they could have done this thing, wouldn't have caused this a long time ago. I know from the early parts of the athletic time, guys were getting a $15 laundry allotment. And then that stopped, I think, from what I was told by Mo Howard, who played at Maryland University. I think it stopped in 74, 73, 74, where they wouldn't even give $1,500 to athletes for that. And the NCAA has been getting us so much. Then comes Sonny Vaccaro, who from the movie from Air and all that, who's a very good friend of mine. And they fought this situation with the NCAA, and then they used a Banyan from UCLA, and that got it kicked off, got the ruling. But what is happening now is that the NCAA were the main culprits of this becoming to what it is, because they could have handled this a lot better. I don't know if you want to call it greed or whatever, but now it's out of control. But you can't knock it that the players getting the money, because that's the money that would normally will go to the university. The university gets allotments amounts of money, and then they're allotted out to certain things as far as exposure, as far as advertisement, all of it. So now the players are getting more of the fruits of their labors. But I think they didn't expect it to be this fruitful.
Oh,
Well,
I mean,
and sorry, Johnny, go ahead.
I mean, the money is just. I mean, we don't even know what that is. When you're talking 3 million in a 18-year-old's account, 3 million here, 5 million there, 15 million. And what I see, without mentioning any names, there was like a couple guys from the Syracuse football team, went NIL and went in the transfer portal. And one of them's a wide receiver, and he went to a Penn State. He went to Penn State, and he's like a 5'9", 5'10", hell of a receiver, but probably will, I'm just saying, probably will not be a real top-notch NFL player. But he got offered $6 million to go to Penn State from sources that I know. Is it true? I don't know. It just seemed like a lot of money. But this is his big money time, and you can say big money time being a student athlete now, and that just blows my mind. I mean, he just started his own company at $6 million. Here you go. Here's $6 million. Catch some passes for us. Hopefully we can win a national championship. If not, let's see what happens after that. If he's not making the NFL, he's making it in college. And sometimes I think we're in a whole different world right now.
Yeah, you gotta remember something about capitalism is something that's always been. So they're capitalizing on capitalism. And a lot of the athletes that are getting this NIL money, they're going to go to training camps, especially football players, basketball players. They're not even going to make the league, but they got their year. They got this money, and I guess it's a good thing. It's hard to say is it a good thing or is it a bad thing, but it's a lot of money. But it's showing you that the corporate sponsors and all the money that normally comes in, which is what they're gambling on for all this intake, it has weight and value. So. Other than that, it wouldn't have any weight and value. But the bad part about it is that these kids now, they don't have no hunger. There's no hunger for anything anymore now. And they're giving these kids money on potential, not that the punch, but what will be. They're giving money what potential will be, but not what potential is.
Yeah.
Well, I'm a Tar Heel fan. No offense, Gene. And I'm sure you run into a lot of Tar Heel fans. Of course, I respect program. Hard to say, but I respect the program, of course. How could you not?
Yeah.
But my issue is last year, Tar Heels had a down season, and there's reports that people were showing up late to practice, people weren't playing hard, and they didn't have a huge NIL budget, but they said the players had money in their pockets, they didn't care. The hunger's not there for certain people. Now, you have certain people that are competitors and they're dogs and they're going to compete and want to win. And I think we see that with like a Caleb Wilson or even a Boozer twins who are just ballers, even though they grew up wealthy. You can't teach that hard. Can you speak about that a little bit? Did you see that even before NIL when you're playing like some players, they might be talented, but they just don't have that dog in them but I think the money definitely takes some of it out.
Well, one of the things that you do when you being recruited earlier before all this happened is that you were brought to come into the culture of Carolina basketball. Duke basketball, Syracuse basketball. I use you guys as an example. And when you come in, your coach is going to teach you, this is the way we do things, this is how we're going to do it. And you come through that and you train through that. These kids now are coming in, their whole concept is, okay, I'm going here, it's TV exposure, I'm getting my bag, and I want to look good because now I want to go to the next level. So the work ethic is not the same, and the game has changed so much that everybody's doing a lot of dribble, a lot of 3-point shots. It's all it's more entertainment than anything. So their attitude, and then go back to this too, AAU basketball. I'm not a big fan of AAU basketball. I got friends that have their kids in it and so forth. I'm good. I like that because they keep them busy. But AAU basketball is nuts. The coaches are coaching these kids to get a one-up or get a connection with someone, and they're not training on any fundamentals whatsoever. So the thing that's hurting everything is that you're recruiting a kid, and he's coming to be a Tar Heel. He's going to be he's going to teach what the history was and all the players up here, and he's going to I want to be a part of that culture. Duke has maintained that these guys come in to do the same the Duke culture. But a lot of other schools are getting out of it because if a kid gets pissed off, he's leaving.
I know.
Yeah.
And he's allowed to.
Now, Gene, do you think contracts would help if there could some sort? I know you're only there for up to 4 years. Some of these players are really one and dones if they go at all. But do you think just like the NFL, like you're a free agent, you're coming in here, but you're going to sign a 2-year contract, and then if you leave, it's a little bit harder. You can renegotiate the contract if like you had to, after having a great season, you can go back to Duke and say, hey, I had 18 points a game, I need more money. But like having like the player, what's his face? I already forgot his name with Carolina. I really liked him, Lubin, last year. He's on his 4th or 5th team. Now he's at NC State, and then he was at Vanderbilt, and then he was at some, and it's like, and it's his right to do it, but it's like watering down where you don't even know who the players are year to year, and I don't think that's great for college basketball.
Yeah, the folk heroism is gone now. I mean, you followed NC State because of David Thompson. You followed Carolina because Mitch Kupchak and Worthy, all those things. That has gone from schools now. And I mean, you got to leave even in small schools like Maine or schools like that. These kids, they'll go there and build up. Everybody's cheering for them, but they're not going to be there for long if they get a bid to go. I believe, like you just said, somewhat contracts. You got employees that work at not basketball, but they make agreements, they make whatever, and you got to abide by it. I think they should have some type of contractual situation like that, and that will change. That will help it a lot. But the same as employees, they should have that same concept.
I'll tell you what. One thing that with this NIL that just kind of it hit me this past NBA draft. I'm watching the draft. And I remember watching the past drafts when a kid gets drafted and he's going up on that podium and he shakes the hand with that commissioner. His life it changes at that moment because now he's going to be a millionaire, multimillionaire. But as I was watching this past year, they're already millionaires and they're going up. They're already there. And it didn't hit me until about like the 4th or 5th pick. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this isn't as fun to watch because, you want to see the emotions and the mom being interviewed and the family just going crazy. Just enough. Hey, boy, we're going to get a bigger paycheck now. And now it's going to get a little more difficult.
And Johnny, that's the thing you're saying. The one thing these kids got that's a problem now. Now you're toting the family. The family knows what you have. You're toting your friends. The friends know what you have. You got agents. You got all these other people that's around. So as much as that money they get, I think the money that the NIL with these kids, they get their money up front. Then being in the NBA where you got to pay NBA tax, you got regular tax. You look at a $50 million contract. These guys are really making out of that $50 million contract maybe $3 to $4 million after paying off everything. The NIL is a little bit different. You're gonna have to pay tax on that money, but you don't have the whole because they got an NBA tax for like $3 to $7 million that they have to pay. It's called some kind of luxury tax. People don't even know about that. So when you break down the budgets of a Kyrie Irving and all these guys, all that money, it sounds good, but when all these taxes and all this stuff, it's really a little bit of money. That's why they go so high. These contracts being like they are.
How about that? Wow.
Now, Gene, when you were playing basketball in college for Duke, like who was the guy that you played against that you were like got you where you wanted to brought out your A game and then maybe the hardest guy to cover? And then what would you say if people that aren't familiar with your game, how would you describe your game if you compare it to maybe a player today?
Well, my thing was I never wanted anybody to outwork me. That was the biggest thing. It wasn't so much about scoring, and it wasn't so much about it. It was about the total game and winning the game. But I had to, for me, my whole concept, I'm not going to let this guy outwork me. If I got to run into the stands, I'm going to the stands. If I got to take a pick, it wasn't like I had to take the shot. I worked within the framework of what the team was and what my skills and abilities were, whether high or low. My dad, to this very day, is very angry at Duke for several reasons. One, Bill Foster left before my senior year. That changed things. And then when I got these, he says, you need to shoot the ball. And I said, yeah, Dad, he says, because you can score anytime you want to. I said, yeah, but my game is not predecessor. My game is to play the complete game, get other players better. And because if somebody doubles me, they got to have confidence. So he said, you could have broke all the records. I said, but that wasn't about winning. That wasn't about winning. And I proved him wrong in that. But he's mad. He says, because your number's not even retired and you did everything for them. So that's a whole big issue in my household now. And it's being brought up to everybody. But my game was to play hard, strong. Albert King was a guy I knew that I had to play and not let him get his game going. Worthy was a guy, is another guy that when you go out there, you know you better be ready to bring your A game. I didn't play the position against Ralph Sampson, but you knew you had to go out there and you had to be ready to play Ralph because Ralph was like the ninth wonder of the world.
Yeah.
So those two guys were the ones that when I had to play a game, I had to be really going into the game really focused.
No,
now wait a minute. So your number's not retired at Duke?
Listen, you are the 50,000 person. Everybody thinks my number's retired, but it's not.
I would assume so. I was looking at your bio as a reminder, and I'm like, oh, this guy's like a Duke legend. I knew you were a Duke legend before you came on, but like reading it, I was like, oh my gosh, even more legendary than I realized. What can we do to help you with that? That's ridiculous.
We just assumed it was hanging, you know.
Everybody did, and now it's a major topic. I think Sports Illustrated is going to do a big piece on it because besides the numbers is what I did to bring other concepts of resurrecting the program. So, and it was all from Tom Butters. Tom Butters was the athletic director. When Bill left, he and Tom fought all the time. So I was Bill's favorite. So I guess he was tackling on to not get it done. And then Coach K comes in his year, the first seven, he had no power. But after he won his first or second year, NCAA titles, he had the power to do it. He didn't do it, and you know the rest is it's going to be a major topic this year, guaranteed.
Okay, as it should be. I did not know that.
You know, I know you had huge numbers, you know, in college, obviously, but I looked at your NBA career, okay, but that's over the time, you know, as far as career stats, and one thing stuck out to me, you know, which is tremendous: 11 points a game, 6 rebounds. But 3 assists as well, man. I mean, so you had the all-around game. You know, if you had a pass, you would pass. I mean, you did a little bit of everything out on the court. Is that fair to say?
It's interesting that my game has always been like that. Even when I got into pros, I was supposed to really be the 4th or 5th pick. But if you don't remember, I broke my wrist in one of my last games at Duke. So and that was like 4 or 5 months before the draft. So that dropped me from being in the top 10 of being drafted to 28. And they flew me around. I put the cast on right after we played North Carolina A&T and NIT, Coach K's first year, my senior year. And I had the cast on. When I went, the cast came off. Cleveland, Seattle, and LA flew me out to take a look at my. And it wasn't even my shooting hand. It was my left hand that I broke my. So I got my leg cut from under me and snapped my navicular bone in half. And the person that picked me up from the airport with the Lakers was Pat Riley, which is interesting. He was an assistant coach with them. Anyway, it was probably the best thing that ever happened to me because I went to a team. The Spurs had the first pick in the second round. They didn't have a first round pick, and they were the first pick. They picked me up. They said they were so lucky we got a first rounder, and I went there to a veteran team. The Bruce brothers, and then you had the great George Iceman Gervin.
Wow.
The first year I came off the bench. Then the second year opportunities opened up. I was 4th on the depth chart for the power forward position. And I'm not really a power forward, but I beat those guys out, and the rest is history. You know, we became one of the top 4 best teams in the NBA for 2 years straight. People don't realize that, but we were. Right. You know, we lost to the Lakers in the Western Conference back-to-back years, but we beat everybody else. It was the Lakers, Boston, and ourselves. The Celtics, the Sixers, the Lakers, and ourselves. People don't even talk about that. And it was me and Mike Mitchell, were both 6'8". We had Artis Gilmore, though, 7'2".
Artis Gilmore. Loved him, too, man. I remember all those guys.
Johnny Moore was the lead, was a point guard. Then Ice led the league in scoring that year. Johnny Moore led the league in assists that year. Artis led the league in field goals that year. and Mike Mitchell was an all-star. We had a hell of a team. They just what they had McAdoo.
Ooh.
Bob McAdoo was the X factor.
We love that. Now that man can score the ball for sure. And back, Jared, how about that nickname, Iceman? Tell me you would have wanted to be known as Iceman your whole life.
Yeah, and then that finger roll, right? Now, Gene, what was your? But if you compared yourself to a player today, what would you say your game's most like?
Oh, some were Draymond Green, but a scorer and ball handling skills much better. I would say Draymond because I played a role. I took my role and I played it, especially with the Spurs. I knew what my role was, and then when I got to Chicago, the same thing. I was supposed to come off the bench because Orlando Woolridge was a starting forward there. He was an all-star. He got into some drug problems, and next thing you know, boom, here it comes. I want to start with the Bulls, and that was amazing to be able to play in the league with two of the greatest players. People ask me that. I says, besides, I could have been with Indiana, but I was with the Spurs with Iceman and artists. I was with the Bulls with Michael and Paxson. So I look back on my career, and besides not so much my individual thing, but to be able to be in the presence of that opportunity to be a part of that is miraculous.
Oh, that's awesome, man. Hey, before we get into a little bit of NBA talk, a little more NBA talk, let's just mention our sponsors, Jared, real quick. I got you covered here. Our title sponsor, Elite Chiropractic Performance. Jeremy is a guest on our show. Seems like every week now, man. This guy is he's an ex-NFLer. He'll take care of you. He's with the Elite Chiropractic Performance, located next to Village Tavern in Greensboro, and he also has a location in Winston. We got Estate Jewelry and Loan. You go see my friend Brian DeMore for all your jewelry Christmas needs at his nice little shop he's got. It was over at 2511 Battleground Ave. Salsarita's Mexican Grill. We love that place. The food is wonderful, and they're located in Greensboro on New Garden Road and in High Point at the Palladium. And insurance, Schenk and Torrance Insurance. For all your insurance needs, please call Brian Torrance at 336-310-1320. And I got one more here. Our new one, it's called 4 Real 24. It's a indoor golf. The 4 is spelled like the golf 4, F-O-R-E. Real golf indoors anytime. Greensboro premier 24/7 indoor golf facility, offering iconic golf courses and state-of-the-art equipment. Go see Clay Jordan over there. I think they're going to be opening maybe late this week, early next week, and he is located over off of Horsepen Creek Road in Battleground, and it's going to be a nice little facility that Jared and I are going to go try to enjoy one of these days. And that's it.
I'm looking forward to it. Oops. All right, so Gene, did you go see Wicked this weekend?
No, I have not.
What does Gene Banks watch? Like when you're at night, you're not watching sports. Is there a show that you're into? Movies that you like?
I'm a historian. My favorite shows are PBS.
Okay.
And they show a lot of stuff about history, about Israel, Europe. I love those. I love history. Now this week is all about the Revolutionary War and all that stuff. And then my favorite channel is the classic Turner classic movies.
Yeah.
I love all the old black and white movies. I love all the way they dress Humphrey Bogart and all of them. I love those are my favorite movies.
Yeah, we were talking about this on a different. I have a entertainment podcast, and not to bore you with this, but we're talking about how stars aren't the same as they used to be because of access. Yes and no. I mean, you see Kevin Hart everywhere, you see The Rock everywhere, but like it used to be something like a Humphrey Bogart you wouldn't see. You would only see him at movie premieres and movies, and then maybe fast forward to a Frank Sinatra or even early on Clooney or Brad Pitt, where you didn't see them everywhere. You didn't have daily posts from them, and it's kind of the mystique has gone away from the old school movie stars, where the star power is not as great, but the world changes and it's not anyway.
It's changed a lot, but those are the kind of movies. I'm a movie guy. I'm a movie guy that loves to watch movies, especially when I'm home, and somebody was sitting there, but and it relaxes me. Those are the main things I watch. TV has gotten really crazy. The old shows are not good anymore. I mean, the new shows are not good like the old shows. I still watch Andy Griffin. I still watch Leave It to Beaver. You know,
Yeah.
but, my sisters, they think something's wrong with me. They think it's crazy, but it reminds me of the old ways because I was raised with some part with not just my mom and dad, but my grandparents, and that's how they lived, and it reminds me of that kind of thing.
No, I mean, my mom grew up in Michigan, and she loves Andy Griffith, and now in North Carolina for quite some time. But she watches Andy Griffith, Matlock, Murder She Wrote, like the old school shows, and she loves them. And they're, there's something about the way TV was done back in the day that's.
Yeah, I mean, I even watch. I still watch Mannix and Barnaby Jones.
Oh, I love it. The Rockford Files. Remember that one?
Those are my three favorite, and they come on late at night sometime.
Boy, I wish I was that sophisticated. I watch Adam Sandler movies and Will Ferrell movies.
Yeah, same.
Maybe is that why my brain doesn't work that well right now?
That's why when you go to Duke.
Will Ferrell a little bit.
Yeah.
What's that?
Look a little bit like Will Ferrell.
Thank you. I've been told that many times, man. I've been begging him on Instagram to put me on as one of his doubles, just one of his movies, man. Just one movie I want to be on there with him.
I'll make a call. If people don't know,
please do.
I did 2 movies in my career.
You did do a couple movies.
One in Stargate, and I did one with Whoopi Goldberg and Eddie.
Yeah.
And that was I was supposed to get $50 in a meal. I wound up being on because the NBA has more assistant coaches, and the director Steve Rash decided to give me that part, and it was the most amazing experience I've ever had. I see why these guys are and the females are divas, because you got a person that makes sure you cut your makeup. They got another person takes off your jacket, make sure they run errands for you. And I wasn't even a star. And I wound up making pretty nice, good money without even the speaking part.
Oh, nice.
What movie was this?
Eddie. Really good movie. We'll be going over the New York Knicks. And it was filmed here. Most of it was done at the old Charlotte Coliseum and Winston. And I got close to Whoopi, and I was about to go on a trip with her and her brother to Wyoming, but my wife became ill and got sick. So that would have changed my whole career.
Yeah. No, I love that you were in those movies. I remember watching Eddie and seeing you in that. All right, a couple quick questions. Yeah. What do you we kind of talked college basketball and what kind of place it's in right now. What do you think? How is the NBA sitting right now? LeBron is in his 23rd year. Steph Curry is, toward the end of his career. Who are they going to start handing this over to, or who will they hand it over to? I got a couple names, and I'd love to get your opinion on their game. Victor Wembanyama, who he reminds me of Ralph Sampson that can play everywhere. Now, I remember Ralph Sampson always wanted to be a point guard at 7'4". Victor's doing it. I mean, what do you think of this guy playing?
He's an alien.
Yeah.
He's an alien.
Yeah.
He's going to change the complete total part of the game, but he's still young. But and the Spurs need to put a good team around him. They're a decent team and they're young, but you got to have some type of enforcer with him, like a Charles Oakley, to add protection. And definitely the guards that they have are pretty good, but they got to put those pieces around him to protect him. Number one, and when you talked about the hand the NBA had and all. You were thinking that it would have been Anthony Edwards, Ant-Man, but he doesn't really want to embrace that, and his off-court demeanor doesn't allow them to do that as well. Yeah. And then you look at Morant, who is an amazing, incredible player.
What a talent!
But what again? You can take the neighborhood, you can take the kid out of the neighborhood, but you can't take the neighborhood out of the kid.
Yeah,
Maxey is a good prime example. A great player, good person, awesome guy. I met him, wonderful. And then, but Luka right now, would probably be the one, and he's international though. But he's the one that they're going to pass the thing off to. Once this LeBron thing moves on, it's just going to be a distraction. But you said it before. I didn't write this down. I was writing some things down about Wambi. He is the future. He's the one they're going to pass the torch to.
Yeah. Hey, no, I got one more. How about Nikola Jokic? I mean, this guy just looks like. Again, I compare it with the 8th grade team, and he's the big guy playing against 6th graders. That's what he looks like out there, and he makes it look so easy.
Well, I'll tell you, Johnny and Jared, the thing that's really interesting, the international teachings of kids is so fundamentally sound. They get them from age 3 and 4 on up. And I played over there, I lived over there and played for 8 years. And their process is so amazing that they've trained these kids up. The only difference was back then they wouldn't let the NBA players come in early like so, because the NBA was like there was, until they started thinking global marketing. And then they started letting people come in, because these guys were always pretty good players. And then these players were kind of fearful when they came to play in the NBA the early time, because the NBA was so physical. It was a physical league. So they will come in with their skills, but you back those guys down after a while, because when you go in there, you're going to go against Bird, and you're going to go against Barkley, and you're going to go against Malone. And that time, now it's open. The game has changed. You can't really touch these guys. They barely play defense until the playoffs. When the playoffs, you see the defense. But right now, it's sickening. I really don't even enjoy watching NBA games until the playoffs.
I wrote down 5 names, and I just now I see the names that I just wrote down, the top 5 to take over. Mm-hmm. Of course, Victor, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Luka, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and the Joker. They're all foreigners.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize that. Every one of them. How about that? And Giannis is a freak of nature too.
It speaks volume of the training. And the real bad part about it, and I'm being very serious, is that AAU has really ruptured some things, because they don't teach any fundamentals.
Yeah.
I'm going to get Johnny and Jared. Johnny's a top player over here at this school. Jared's a top player over here, and we play against them. But we're going to put them all together as one team. We'll have a shoot around for a day, and then we got to go to Cincinnati and play 4 or 5 games. But we're good enough to play with each other, but we're not the fundamentals. It has torn the fabric of basketball, USA basketball, in its entirety.
Wow.
No, definitely. Now, before we let you go, we have to ask you the age-old debate, and I know you're a Dookie, so it might be hard for you, but who is the GOAT, Jordan or LeBron?
Love this. I hate that they brought this up. Let's automatically take this. LeBron cannot touch Michael. I just leave that alone for many reasons. For many reasons. No disrespect to LeBron, he's a great athlete, great talent, so forth. But Michael Jordan, well, come on, we've seen it, we experienced. I played it. I played against him. All those things, and everybody agrees on it. But to me, the greatest that's ever played the game is Wilt Chamberlain. I still say Wilt because of all the records. Everybody keeps saying, well, he had this, he got double teamed, so forth and so on. It's a tough sell. Michael just made the game more global, per se, when it came to that. But he's a super talent. Then you can't forget about Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Yeah. Thank you for mentioning him. He doesn't get mentioned enough. My God, he was the most unstoppable shot ever in basketball. And why hasn't some other 7'2", 7'3" guy try to work on that shot?
That's a special spot. So when you look at championships, if you want to talk about who's the greatest ever, there's it's hands down, Bill Russell's the greatest. Yeah. When it comes to champ, because they all talk about, well, he doesn't have this champion. But I said, then all of a sudden they talk about Bill. Bill was a hell of an athlete. He wasn't a great scorer, but he knew how to win. So I look at Wilt being 1, Kareem being 2, Jordan being 3. Then the rest of those, LeBron's not in there yet. I would give him 5, maybe. They don't even talk about Bird. Bird was a great player.
Magic Johnson.
Magic, Doc. But when you talk about the magnitude of it, I say Wilt for many reasons. And I say Kareem, and then I say Jordan. Those are my top three.
Yeah.
Wow, I did not see that coming. I didn't see. I understand the argument. I can see it, but it's like you don't hear that very often. But I agree with both of you about Kareem not getting his due. I don't know if it's a personality thing. I know he's had some issues with that, where people kind of like don't like him. But it's like he needs a PR person or something because his career is sensational.
Last 5 or 6 years, he's been very praised. He's been personable, and you see him in commercials. He reminds me him. And remember Steve Carlton played for the Phillies?
Yeah. Oh, that's right. He was like that.
He wouldn't talk to anybody. He was, and Kareem was like that. And Steve Carlton is still that same way. But it's amazing. It's amazing.
Jared, Kareem won national or state and national titles in high school, won every year in college, and 6 NBA championships. He was a winner his entire life.
Now, let me ask you this, Gene, real quick. Maybe one last question, unless Johnny has something.
No, you're good.
Michael Jordan and/or another great scorer, Michael Jordan playing now without hand checking, which he had for most of his career, and in his prime, what would he average?
I would say he would probably average 50 because he's tenacious. There are two guys that were in the league that were just assassins, and they had an attitude. That was Michael and Kobe. If you pissed them off, there's nothing more that when they come to that game, they want a piece. I played with Michael. I know how he is. They came and you were going to get destroyed. If Michael came in and he played, he would probably average 50 a game. There's no way they can stop. So especially with the rules the way they are now.
Yeah,
I'm not just exaggerating. I thought about that one over. He would be that, and Kobe would be just ridiculous. But
his legendary agent said he would at least average 45. So I mean, you're in line. I think AI said similar that Jordan averaged 45 or so.
I think 45 is more. 50 is really hard to do. Wilt did it, and I don't know how he did it because he got double teamed and the whole 9 yards, and the ball got held and all that stuff. But 50 is a lot. I scored 50 points in a game in high school, and I was never so exhausted in my life. My coach said, we're gonna show them that you are a scorer. We know that. And he would not let me pass. They passed it back, and we were the number 1 team in the country. I didn't need to score, but he made sure that one game before I left, the play to show everybody. And I mean, I was done.
It's a lot. It's a lot of work.
Yep.
You know, with the way defense is played now and all that, I think I could go in at about an 18-point clip in upward basketball now.
Upward with the kids? Yeah, I could average 0 for sure.
Stop drinking that highly caffeinated coffee.
Exactly. Well, Gene, you've been a pleasure. This is my first time meeting you. Johnny has spoken highly of you. Of course, I love basketball, so I've been aware of you, and you're fun to talk to, and what a great career you had in college and the NBA, and obviously post professional sports. It's really great to actually meet you. So this is awesome.
Well, thank you guys, and Johnny. Like I said, Johnny's like a brother to me, and Jared, great meeting you. But I'll leave everybody with this: that we have a lot of people passing away, a lot of athletes, they're dying, and it doesn't have me scared. But I worry about how much time I have. It's in respect to Rodney Rogers.
Yeah,
he just passed away.
I know.
Right. So it makes you look at life a little bit differently, or more intense, to really doing more good for life and whatever it is you can give. And my daughters have always kept me grounded. I'm thankful to that. But it's even more grounded. I just want to enjoy people and have people enjoy me, and that's where I'm at right now.
You know what? Let's leave it at that. That's a beautiful thing, Gene. But we will say we want you back on the show once ACC kind of kicks into gear here and all that. We'd love to have your input on that if you don't mind.
Keep them posted. We just named the park after Bob McAdoo in Greensboro. Big honor. And that was
great.
And the next project is trying to get Curly Neal a statue.
Oh yes. Come on.
one thing before you get off this, people, listeners, when in your city, when you have an icon and they're walking, honor them, give them their flowers. You know,
Yeah.
And Greensboro's never done all that. They gave a little thing here and there, but honor these guys that walk. Let these kids see them because now they can Google their history.
Right.
And that's what I'm working on now. Just getting these guys like Lou Hudson. Remember Lou Hudson?
Oh, absolutely. Great guard for the Atlanta Hawks, right?
These kids know nothing about him.
Yep.
You know, it's crazy.
Where's he from? Where's he out of?
Greensboro.
No, he's not.
Yeah.
Wow.
Vince Evans played Chicago.
Oh, yeah.
So, Dudley High School.
Yep.
They've had a lot of people. Here's another one before we get off the Carolyn Lynn. Left from Greensboro, played in my basketball league. She was a white girl coming playing against the black boys in the hood.
Wow.
But she was a good player. She leaves the program. She goes to the Olympics, and she wins a gold medal in rowing.
Oh my God!
Wow.
They have not even honored her, but I'm going to make sure they honor her.
Well, and we're going to get Gene Banks' number retired at Duke.
Oh, we got to, man.
If not, we'll take your jersey and put up in the Dean Dome. How about that?
What, Jared?
Yep.
Might spur everything. That might spur everything.
It would.
They put a jersey up. They go, and they think that Carolina's, but he said no. We'll respect them and put his jersey.
There you go. Respect.
Yes.
Oh, I love it.
We're gonna make it happen.
Awesome.
All right, good stuff, man. Appreciate it, guys.
Appreciate you too.
Overtime pay. We're talking the overtime play. The big stories, the big plays, the big drama. We got Charity and Johnny.